People see pandas and think they've got the cutest, most peaceful life on Earth. But behind that fluffy black and white fur is one of the most tragic survival stories in the animal kingdom. Being a panda isn't adorable, it's a curse dressed up to look cuddly. And in this episode of Why It Sucks to Be, we're going to show you exactly why being a panda really is the worst mistake anyone could make. Born clumsy and weak. The life of a panda starts with a disadvantage no animal should have. The cub is born too early and too unfinished to survive on its own. Its body is pink, soft, and hairless, like nature hit send before the download was done. There's no fat to keep it warm, no muscle to help it move, and no fur to hide how fragile it is. It can't crawl, it can't cry loud, it just lies there, quiet and helpless, hoping its mother figures out she has a baby before something bad happens. That hope doesn't always work out, because the size gap between them is a serious problem. The mother is huge, and the baby is small enough to get lost under her belly. If the mother lies down or moves around, she can crush the cub without even knowing it. Most panda babies don't survive their first few hours, simply because they're too small for their mother to even notice they're there. And it gets worse when two cubs are born. The mother doesn't have enough milk or energy to raise both, so she picks one and leaves the other like someone tossing out the weaker battery to keep the flashlight running. The smaller cub gets pushed to the side, left in the cold with no food and no chance to survive. Meanwhile, the one that gets picked becomes the favorite, but even that one isn't safe either. Most panda babies don't even make it past the first hour. All it takes is the mother moving the wrong way, and the choosing cub won't survive. Even if the chosen cub survives those first few days, the fight for survival doesn't stop there. Its body is still too soft and unfinished to do anything. The legs can't hold weight, and the muscles can't help it move. Its eyes stay closed for weeks, and its head stays down the whole time. It spends day after day lying in the same spot, too weak to crawl or even shift itself around. While it stays frozen like that, the rest of the wild keeps moving forward. Other baby animals are already crawling, standing, or learning to run from dangers. But the panda cub stays behind, stuck in a body that refuses to grow up fast enough. And when you're that slow in the wild, you become the most easiest target for wild animals. At this point, it can only get worse. The bamboo curse. You'd think a big animal like a panda would eat something powerful. Meat, fruit, maybe something with a little energy in it. But nope, pandas eat bamboo. Almost nothing but bamboo. That's like choosing to live off salad every day, even though your body clearly looks like it needs 3 full-course meals just to stay upright. And here's the worst part. Bamboo barely has anything in it. It's dry, it's fibrous, and it takes forever to chew. A panda has to eat a lot just to avoid passing out, like 12 to 14 hours a day. Every single day. That's more than half the day gone, just sitting there, chewing sticks like it's their full-time job, which, unfortunately, is exactly their full-time. Because bamboo gives so little, pandas can't afford to miss a meal. Their entire schedule is wake up, eat bamboo, sit down, eat bamboo, roll over, eat bamboo, fall asleep, probably still holding bamboo. And even then, they barely get the energy they need. That's why they're always tired and slow. Their food has almost no nutrients, which means they have to eat a mountain of it just to avoid passing out. You'd think that if an animal eats almost nothing but bamboo, it would at least have a backup plan, maybe a second food it can switch to, or something small it can snack on when things run out. But pandas don't work like that. Their whole body is locked into eating bamboo and nothing else. They don't adjust, they don't get creative, and they don't have emergency options. If the bamboo disappears, the panda doesn't look for another plant. It just waits. And if the bamboo doesn't grow back fast enough, the panda ends up starving to death. This will be my first time seeing someone's life end just because their favorite food got finished. If survival was a game, I guess, pandas picked the hardest level. The lazy reputation. Pandas don't just look lazy, they actually are. But it's not because they're spoiled or lazy by choice. The real problem starts with their food. Bamboo barely has any energy in it, so even after spending all day chewing, pandas still run on empty. Their body doesn't get enough fuel to stay active. So what do they do instead? Sleep a lot. Most of their day is either eating or lying around like they've just eaten too much, and when they're not doing one, they're doing the other. That's their whole schedule. Their body gets so little energy from bamboo, it has no choice but to slow them down, like a phone stuck on 1% battery, trying not to shut off completely. That slow lifestyle might work for adults who already know how to stay safe, but for baby pandas, it's a disaster. Young pandas are already small, fragile, and helpless from birth, but add to that is their diet, making them tired all the time. That's like a time bomb waiting to explode. Predators don't have to chase panda cubs, they just have to find one. The cub can't run or hide, and it usually doesn't even realize danger is coming. If the mother's nearby, she might try to step in. But she's slow, and getting to the cub in time is like using a dial-up connection to load a YouTube video. By the time it starts, the moment's already gone. People call pandas lazy, like it's some kind of joke. But if you look closer, there's nothing funny about them. They're not resting or slow because they want to. They're like that because their body gives them no other choice. Every slow step and long nap is just survival on a diet that leaves them weak. Awkward love life. For pandas, even mating is a struggle. Surviving is already tough enough, but they also face the challenge of keeping their species alive. In the wild, finding a partner isn't easy, and even when they do, it rarely ends the way it should. The biggest problem is timing. A female panda can only get pregnant for 2 or 3 days in the whole year. That tiny window decides everything. If the male misses it, the chance is gone, and they both have to wait until the next year. That pressure makes reproduction less about romance and more about beating the clock. And even when the timing is perfect and the female is giving all the mating signals, the male panda often has no idea what to do. I don't know if they're shy of panda ladies or just too lazy to mate, but most of the time, they just stand there, staring like they're lost. Others pace around, looking confused, like a nerd boy trapped in a room with his high school crush, doing everything except making a move. Some males act like nothing special is happening at all, as if they don't even notice the female wants them. The signals couldn't be clearer, but the male panda is just too dumb to pick them up. Honestly, I wish human dating worked like that. A girl throwing signals that obvious would save everyone a lot of stress. Things get so bad that humans actually have to step in. In zoos, zookeepers sometimes roll out videos of other pandas mating, just to give the clueless males an idea of what they're supposed to do. Imagine being so bad at flirting that people have to sit you down for a training session. Some pandas watch, learn nothing, and go right back to chewing bamboo. Others look like they finally get the point, but when it's time to act, they freeze again, like, nah, not today. I know life is tough for pandas, but this mating part almost makes me want to become one. Anyway, let's see what else makes this nerd animal's life suck. Struggling in captivity. You'd think that life in a zoo would finally give pandas a break. No predators, no starving, no harsh weather, just food, shelter, and safety. But even in captivity, pandas can't escape their problems. The same struggles that nearly finish them in the wild follow them right into the cage. Reproduction is still a nightmare. Even with everything controlled by humans, most panda pairs still find it very difficult to mate on their own. Zookeepers get so desperate they've turned to artificial insemination just to keep the numbers up. That's right, the cute and cuddly animal on posters around the world often exists because someone in a lab had to step in and do the work pandas couldn't. People all over the world treat pandas like fluffy mascots of peace and cuteness, but the panda living in the zoo doesn't feel any of that. Day after day, it stays inside an enclosure with glass walls or fences, while crowds line up to stare, point, and take pictures. To the visitors, it looks cute, but for the panda, it's just another day stuck in the same space, walking the same ground, with nowhere else to go. The love people give them comes with a cost, and that cost is living a life behind walls. I mean, I wouldn't complain about being locked up either, as long as someone else is covering my bills and taxes. Well, it's a strange twist. Pandas are more protected than almost any other animal on Earth. But in return, they've lost the wildlife they were meant to have. Instead of roaming through forests like they're built for, they spend their days stuck in exhibits, walking the same ground over and over. It sounds safe, but sometimes you can't help but wonder, do the pandas themselves even want to stay in captivity? The extinction shadow. For pandas, the biggest threat isn't predators or disease, it's losing their home. Their entire life depends on bamboo forests, and those forests keep shrinking year after year. Roads cut through them, farms replace them, and towns expand into the spaces pandas once used to roam. Every time the forest disappears, the pandas' chances of surviving disappear with it, and without those forests, the entire species moves closer to extinction. Then comes climate change, making things even worse. Bamboo only grows under very specific conditions, and when the weather shifts too much, the plants struggle to grow back, and without bamboo, pandas have literally nothing else to eat. Add to the fact that pandas are already clumsy, slow, and bad at reproducing, and you've got the perfect recipe for extinction. That's why humans had to step in. Conservationists started moving pandas into reserves and zoos, even helping the awkward panda males figure out how to mate. Because if it was all left to the male pandas alone, they'd be gone by now. And let's be real, we probably wouldn't even have gotten the last Kung Fu Panda movie. And that's the shadow hanging over every panda alive today. On posters and ads, they look like symbols of peace and cuteness. In reality, they're a species weighed down with problems that threaten their very existence. Without the help of humans, they'd already be gone. Cute or not, being a panda sucks. That's one life I definitely want to avoid if God ever decides to send me back as another species. We've come to the end of our video. Thanks for watching till the end. Please subscribe to our channel and maybe leave a like too. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.